They wish to carry out worthwhile projects, but they're expensive, and they always want somebody else to pay for them. And this is where they get into trouble.
Let's just understand exactly what has gone on here then. And once again, we're in a situation of really just quite a difficult sort of public perception issue for Prince Charles.
That's right. So you say once again, I mean, just for listeners to recap, we now are in a situation where the heir to the throne, the future King Prince Charles, is at the heart of a police investigation and about 5 overlapping statutory inquiries by the Charity Commission. All of them centre on this world where royalty and money meet, and questions about the proper propriety of Charles's fundraising practices. So the Bin Laden story is consistent with that. In fact, it was only a month ago that we reported that Charles had accepted a suitcase of cash from Qatar's former prime minister. The denomination of the notes, 500 euros, they're nicknamed the Bin Ladens. But now we have the actual Bin Laden family, and they gave Charles a £1 million donation. In terms of the specifics, Charles requested and accepted the 7-figure sum, which was subsequently deposited in the Prince of Wales Charitable Fund. Now, we've spoken to a number of sources who are explicit that Charles was directly warned in person not to accept the money, to hand it back. This was a bad idea. It'd be terrible public relations consequences, and quite possibly rightly so, in the event that the news of the transaction came out in the kind of weeks, months, or as the case may be, years to come. And one source stated that they were shouted down as a result of expressing these concerns. Now, the person you had on before me said that the Prince of Wales Charitable Fund, this body which funds Charles's projects, insists that trustees made this call. That is correct. That is their position, which I'm sure you'll want to avail listeners of.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely, and thanks for doing so. I think what is striking, a number of things are striking in this case, but is the particular detail on seemingly the number of people who were advising him against this, and here we are. It happened anyway. Is that a pattern of behaviour that you have picked up as you've been reporting these many incidents that you outlined, or is that a new detail here that actually he seems to have gone against advice?
We've quoted somebody that states that they remember every single second of the conversation in which they told His Royal Highness not to do this. The whole point of the monarchy, is not for me to specify what the whole point is, but part of the point of the monarchy is that they're there by public consent, but they're not controversial. They do nice things. That they're sort of benign and positive into the public life. And that ultimately means that royals are not able, rightly or wrongly, if the institution is to continue to exist and prosper, they're not able to pursue personal projects or do things in their personal capacity that could undermine the institution as a whole. Here we have somebody that was basically conveying that to the prince, or more than one somebody, multiple people, conveying this to HRH, who as we reported, obviously didn't return the money or ask for it to be returned. And I think that herein lies the issue. I mean, there are all sorts of stories that just don't pass the smell test. I mean, it might be, by the way, that all these investigations produce nothing, and we're left with zero, and it's total exoneration for every single person involved. But the question is, and I think I'm going to lean on the wording of one of the people we quoted in our story, is this a good idea? In proactive terms, would you volunteer to do this, or is just not doing it the better of the options? I would say that question has some pretty it has some cross application to the cash and bags, to accepting money from a Russian fraudster, to conferring an honour on a Saudi billionaire. I mean, the question is, why is this actually happening? And we don't have time to get into it now, but frankly, the answer is structural. It's that Charles took on a lot of debt in order to buy a country estate in Scotland, has lots of big projects, lots of ideas about the way the world should be, ranging from homeopathy to natural medicine to architecture to climate change, and giving effect to your ideas does not come free.
Without wishing to ask you to reveal anything in particular, but to you, Gabriel, does it feel like there is more of this to come? There has been so much already. Does it feel like there is yet more to be uncovered here?
I think what is happening now is, I'm not laying claim to any kind of great. I mean, the word unprecedented is obviously probably appears far too often in newsprint. The royal family is routinely scrutinised, and we're not the only people to have done it. But
Sure.
there is something unusual about the way in which this is having traction in terms of the number of investigations launched. I mean, even if we or the Mail on Sunday or all the other publications who've been producing or following these stories were to do nothing, there is literally, I sort of have to remind people of this because it sort of people I think have forgotten there's an actual police investigation taking place right now, conducted by Scotland Yard. There are in both the office of the Scottish Charity Regulator and the England and Wales Charity Commission multiple inquiries that relate specifically to situations in which Charles was involved. I think that you say, is there more? I think that the answer is probably, if not definitively from us. I mean, there's no doubt that the number of disclosures will beget more coverage, but there's some big questions now about what these various investigations are going to deliver. It may be one of them leads to nothing. I can't see all of them leading to nothing.
Worth pointing out, nothing illegal has been done here, but once again, it calls into question the judgment of Prince Charles.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. It's worth saying, I think, and we must, that it is denied that the Prince had any part in this, and that these alleged advice that came from somebody who is unnamed to say, don't touch this money, stay away from it, and he obviously disregarded that. All of that is categorically denied by Sir Ian Cheshire, who's the chairman. He said any other interpretation of this other than his own is false and misleading. So I think we have to put that in. But it's not a good look for any member of the royal family, particularly the heir to the throne, to be in this sort of position of soliciting monetary gifts from anyone, being it a Saudi billionaire or a Russian oligarch or banker, whoever it is. I mean, a begging bowl is a begging bowl, even if it's made of silver gilt and it's been crafted by the royal jeweler. And of course, there have been these earlier cases not very long ago, this wasn't denied, that a Qatari former prime minister presented Prince Charles with a total, it seems, of about £2 million in suitcases and carrier bags, which the Prince promptly handed over to the fund to be banked properly, and the announcement was made that they would never accept money in this form again. And that was cleared by the Charity Commission. There was nothing illegal done, as you say, Chloe, but it looks bad.
That story then on the front page of the newspaper and online as well. So you can get all the details. You can read all from all of the sources that Gabriel was mentioning there as well, in terms of how the story has been stood up, how it's been investigated. A Clarence House spokeswoman said, "The Prince of Wales's charitable fund has assured us that thorough due diligence was undertaken in accepting this donation. The decision to accept was taken by the charity's trustees alone, and any attempt to characterise it otherwise is false."